What is up, guys? We are here. We're here at the field with something smaller. This is the Vertigo Mini. This is the Vertigo Mini 50 millimeter. So the other one you have been watching me fly is the 64 millimeter. And I decided that flew so good that I was ready to give it the well, it's not really an upgrade. It's not a downgrade either. It's actually more approachable for the majority of people. So 50 millimeter, less filament, smaller. This thing came in at like 550 grams or something. So super light. I am going to bring in the zoom. And I'm going to get this thing in the air. So this is the maiden on this guy here. I got the I have the CG correct, I think. So I got the launch. I got the launcher here. There it is, right there. You can see that. So I have the launcher ready to rock and roll, and we're going to get this guy up in the air, and hopefully we get a good flight. Throw it into the wind. Just like the 64. Wow. This definitely needs to be trimmed down a little. Wow. It is so floaty. It could use a little nose weight, actually. Look at this. This is the maiden flight. Never flown this thing. I don't know, man. I might like the 50 even better. Wow. It is so smooth. It's just like the 64, but just smaller and more responsive because you have the same size servo and smaller plane, smaller controls, less weight basically. Watch, ready? Roll rate. Whoa. I don't know, guys. Whoop, almost put it into the ground. That was a user error there. Let's slow this thing down. Watch it go slow. Ready? Punch out. Look at that. 50 millimeter. Still climbing. Still climbing. Still climbing. Almost unlimited vertical. And guys, I didn't touch anything. I did 10% expo on the roll rate, which is normally what I do on new planes. What a beautiful plane. Wow. This thing is so cool. Birds and planes in the air distracting me. Wow, this thing really flies. CG is bang on. It's perfect. And it's so floaty that I haven't actually seen any real issues with the CG. Like, I don't really notice a nose heavy versus a tail heavy. It's very forgiving. I guess the canards give it that buffer. And then the wing type also gives it some buffer buffer zone. You would just think that a straighter wing like this would provide a narrower CG range balance point, but no. Slow it down. Let's slow her down here. Great conditions, a beautiful day today. High alpha. Still doesn't want to drop a wing. All right, I'm gonna bring it in. Let's bring her in. Float her in. Oh, wow. Very nice, very cool. I am super excited about this one. Wow. I mean, I imagined that the 50 millimeter was going to be bang on because the 64 was just so good. But I just did not expect perfection. I thought it was going to be a little bit twitchy. What it actually did was it made the roll rate perfect for my standards, which is look at that cool hat. Look at that. Kyle's Designs hat. What it did was it made it a little bit more snappy on the roll and a little bit more control authority on everything, like the pitch a little bit. And that in itself is pretty cool. The other one's perfect. It's more, the 64 is going to be a little more docile. It's going to be a little bit easier to fly for the average Joe. So that's where your battery is going to sit right there. You guys can see that. I'll actually go into a 1 here. So your battery is going to sit right there. It's easily accessible. You're going to have to run a lightweight battery, guys. So let me just go over this real quick. So the Vertigo, when I planned this plane out, I wanted the center of mass, which is the CG basically. The center of mass is the CG. So when you take the airframe by itself, it balances right about where the CG is. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted the battery and the fan and the servos are right here, the fan's right here, and the battery's right here. So the center of mass is centrally located in the plane. Now, in race cars and in motorcycles, you don't want a long polar moment. You don't want to have weight distribution over the edges and all over the place. That's not good. It's not good for performance. So I wanted this thing to have optimal performance and handling. So I brought the center of mass towards the center. So the reason why I'm saying this is because you have to run a 1300. You can get away with a 1500, but you're going to have to stick it, back pretty far. I didn't use any motor wire extensions on this one, and you don't have to. And I did use short extensions that were maybe 6 inches long on the servos. The motor wires, I was able to just go motor, a Galaxy, because they have long motor wires, and I was able to attach that to the 40 amp ESC. So it's super lightweight, like I said, and all the mass is centrally located right around the CG, and it's a pretty forgiving CG, to be honest with you. So that is what you're going to have to deal with. You're not going to be able to run a 2200 in this unless you get creative, and you're going to have to print the front half of the plane super lightweight and the back half of the plane super heavy. If you run a thrust vector system, which it's going to be available, thrust vector, you can get away with the heavier battery, obviously. So, all right, so let me zoom a little bit. All right, gonna zoom in a little bit for the next flight. We're gonna get one more flight in with this guy. All right, let's go for it. Get him up in the air. Ready? Oh, it's even easier than the 64 because it's lighter. It's easier to handle. Wow. there goes the wind. we were lucky to not have wind for a little while. I could turn the roll rate down a little bit. I like it to be really edgy, but you can turn the roll rate down definitely on this. I actually should probably turn the roll rate down if I want to get wild, which I should. Now the wind is going the opposite direction. It's amazing when you fly planes a lot, you really pay attention to the wind and what's going on with the wind and how it changes. You think like the prevailing winds or whatever, you would imagine that the wind is going to stick with one direction and it's going to stay that way for half a day, maybe 3/4 of a day, 2 days. No, I mean, I've been at the field and I've had 3 or 4 wind changes. Look at this thing slow down. That's the wind right there, going in. Just a fun plane. What a floaty plane too. Wow. Stall it in the wind. That's all it does, guys. That's the stall. All it does is it just wants to say, oh, I just want to drop my nose a little. And that's all it does. It suggests to you that it wants to drop its nose. This would be such a good FPV plane. But you need to add weight to the back in order to have more weight in the front. So that's the only negative, if I were to say. The only negative thing you have to deal with this is you need to run a lightweight battery. 1500 max, 1500Z is the maximum I would probably run. Stall it out again. Yep, just drops the nose. Because in order to balance this thing right with the CG, that's what you got to do. And it's fast, super fast. It's like a laser. Now the wind's coming. Now the wind's coming from this direction. I'm going into the wind right now. Look. How crazy is that? Within one flight. All right, guys. I'm going to bring this one in. Like I said in other videos, the average duration view is 4.5 minutes or something like that. So I'm not going to bore you guys. I'm sure there are some of you that watch these things. I should have came around again. I'm sure there are some of you guys that watch the whole deal, but the majority don't. So I'm not gonna run 3 batteries and put gigs and gigs and gigs on my memory card unless I have to. So all right, well, that is really it for the Vertigo 50 millimeter. It is pretty awesome in every way, and there's nothing that I need to do except I already added the CG marks. I don't need to label the vertical stabilizers as left and right. The canards don't need to be labeled because they're so easily to see which way the airfoil goes. I mean, there's nothing else that needs to be done. This thing is working out pretty well. So I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you like the Vertigo. The Vertigo is basically a Funjet style plane. If you guys have ever seen the multiplex Funjet, I flew those things back in 2005, whenever, I don't even know. They probably came out in the 90s, but or maybe it was called the Twin Jet or something, but the Fun Jet was one of my favorites. I put 90 millimeters on that thing, and I always wanted to make a Fun Jet style plane, and I thought the canards would add some more flair and some more flyability, really, and it definitely did. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make the control surfaces that shape on this wing to provide the perfect balance of pitch and also roll. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys like this, and if you want to grab the Vertigo, it's going to be up on Colts pretty soon. I will make a video for that.